Might be able to catch it. Holly Springs, you're included in this tornado warning. Holly Springs, Potts Camp. Try to catch this thing. Get in your safe place, Holly Springs. Dangerous tornado warning storm coming to Holly Springs. Look at that. It's going to pass north of Abbeville. Strong rotation on this storm. Get in your safe place, Holly Springs. There's the circulation. I'm going to be approaching from the south. It's probably going to pass just south of Holly Springs. Bubblers back near Dumas are trying to develop too. Thanks everybody for the chase mode. Holly Springs, tornado warning coming in. It's going to pass north of Abbeville, Potts Camp to Holly Springs. Get in your safe place. Pretty strong rotation on it. The only thing that could stop it is if it moves out of the instability axis, but it does look like a fairly well-defined supercell. No tornado on the ground just yet, but it does have strong rotation on it. Strong cyclone. And that's going to pass just to the north of Abbeville, headed toward Holly Springs, everybody. Tornado warning. I'm trying to get up there best that I can. Coming here at 4.5 miles. I'm going to head northeast. 4.4, exit 211. It's probably that original storm that I was on. Trying to get to Potts Camp and get on this thing. It's going to be in Potts Camp in a little less than an hour, and I should be able to beat it up there. Potts Camp, dangerous tornadic storm headed your way. Potts Camp all the way up to Holly Springs. You're included in that tornado warning. Mesocyclone, ramp it up quickly on it. 3 miles. Hopefully the technical difficulties are a little bit better on this one. Looks like all hell's breaking loose. Trying to do book phase 2. 2.4 miles, exit 211. I'm going to head toward Potts Dam. Storm continues to intensify. Large mesocyclone on it. It doesn't have a tornado right now. Maybe a little bit of a debris drop though, but I think that's just probably some gusty winds. Maybe the inflow zone too is starting to crank. 858, severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado over Harmontown. 8 miles northeast of John W. Kyle State Park. Also, some bubblers are starting to develop out near Dumas over southeastern Arkansas. Those are bubbling out there. Southeast Arkansas, those might end up producing as well. Get off on exit 211. Then I'm going to go live on Bookface again. Let them know what's coming. This is the beginning of the nocturnal portion of this outbreak over Dixie Island. There are a couple tornado warnings down in southern Oklahoma. One of them might have produced just northeast of Ada. Safer route available, no thanks. That was always our idea back in the day, was to develop an app that would help you navigate to the storm, not safely around it. But it does seem like Google has already developed that navigation around severe thunderstorm warnings. It's already happening out there. See if I can catch this thing. I'm going to go northeast and get in I'm only about 70 miles out of Potsdam. And the storm's moving at 30 miles an hour. It's moving east-northeast now. I think it's turned right because it's kind of anchored on that warm frontal zone up there. The convergence on that warm frontal zone was enough to excite that storm and cause it to develop. Come on, Dan! Come on, Dan! Thanks, everybody, for joining me. Tornado warning. Headed for Holly Springs and Potsdam. We're headed that direction. Yeah, sometimes I do chase with Connor and Mike Scantlin. Connor's actually working for AccuWeather though right now. We're on our way. We might have some signal issues as we're going up in this direction, but should be able to make it too. Yep. See if that tornado is on the ground yet. Oh, it's weakening. It's not going to make it. I want to go for that Hernando by Halia. Yeah, the rotation doesn't look as significant. I wonder if it's outrunning the instability axis a little bit. It's just the first tornado warning so far. It's not on the ground right now. The mesocyclone has weakened in the last scan. Thanks everybody for joining us. Sorry I had some technical difficulties back there with the live stream, but we are back. I'm going to get Facebook going too. Let them know that there is a tornado warning in Holly Springs. Live tornado. everybody, this is a live update. We have a tornado warning for Holly Springs down to Potsdam. Last couple of scans and that supercell has weakened a little bit, but it still has the tornado warning. The tornado warning is in effect for at least another half hour so far. Trying to take you live here. Having a couple little technical difficulties today with this live storm chase. But Holly Springs down to Potsdam. Get in your safe place. Supercell headed your way. Also the one out near Hernando. I think that's going to be next in line to potentially develop tornado potential. That one's along I-55 right now. And it doesn't have a special weather statement or a warning of any kind, but I think that one also has potential of developing tornado threat. So I'm headed toward Potsdam to try to intercept the storm. Last couple scans, though, it has weakened just a little bit. And so that's my plan. Now I'm headed up to Potsdam. Thanks everybody for joining me on this live stream. Woo-wee. Thank you. Purple Drecky, 5 memberships. Team Dominator, the coolest club in storm chasing. Thank you. Not only are we chasing, but we're learning the science of chasing, trying to understand these tornadoes, trying to launch sensors into them, trying to get all the Dominators back out in the field eventually. Kind of hit a little bit of a hiccup with the science. I wanted to start deploying gravitrons again, deploying more sensors. But we're also trying to finish up our rocket paper publication. And we have a tornado warning right now. It's coming into Holly Springs and Potsdam. Watching it. The last couple scans, the supercell has weakened just a little bit. But still has the tornado warning, and it is heading in the direction of Holly Springs and Potsdam up there. Right now I am headed in that direction too. I'm about 50 miles south of Potsdam. Something's wrong with my internet here on Verizon, on my Verizon phone. We've had all kinds of technical difficulties today, but we're still chasing. Trying to sling some weather reports, any information we can. Information saves lives during these outbreaks. The nocturnal portion has just gotten started. Oklahoma, just a beautiful place. It's trying to tell me that I don't have signal on the Bookface stream, but we're back! Get up in there, Dan! Tracking a tornado warning, Holly Springs to Potsdam. Right when it ramped up, when the mesocycle didn't have the resurrection. Seat open here if any Team Dominator members want to come down and chase. Austin. So right now we are trying to catch this tornado warned storm in Holly Springs. I'm going to try to get it at Potsdam. I think it's going to move just south of Holly Springs, but if it develops some deviant motion, Yeah, that low-level jet is strong and strengthening. If it gets up to 50 knots, if it does occlude, it's possible that that tornado could just rocket off to the north and you can get that deviant motion. Wonder if these updrafts are going to be able to serve. Obviously, that 1 year Holly Springs matured into a full-blown supercell with tornado potential. So we definitely are having that threat. And it's starting to come to fruition. The potential energy out there, the potential shear, the potential cape. Everything is being realized now. And I do think this is a chance of a big tonight. There's also a threat of a big tornado tomorrow across southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, including the I-20 corridor from Meridian up through Tuscaloosa and Birmingham. Boom. Boom. Yeah, it's going to die, I think. Memphis also has a severe thunderstorm warning, but that thing's more of a left split. Along I-55. It's not warned yet. And it looks like it's running out of the instability. Pivot to a new storm now, folks. Gotta pivot to a new storm. I'm on 7 north. It's trying to catch up to it, but the circulation has weakened. Tornado potential does no longer exist with that storm that's southwest of Holly Springs. I mean, it's still a storm, still a surface-based storm, but there's the circulation. It's trying to carve out some clean inflow again. It's going to pass halfway between Holly Springs and Potts Camp. That is for sure. The circulation's not incredibly strong. Makes me think that it might be outrunning the instability a little bit. Look at this left split up through Memphis. See that? That's the latest circulation. But still, here. Yeah. Even northeastern central Tennessee, central western Tennessee. So I mean, it looks like the corridor storms might support tornadoes all the way up into central Tennessee. See that? It's trying to tell me that I don't have data. Greatest wind shear is definitely back toward Clarksdale. But I think that they're going to have tornado potential all the way up into western Tennessee as well. Look at that. I mean, this whole area. There's still a lot of inflow into that storm, but I wonder if it's going to continue to organize. I may just track it up into Tennessee, Ashland, Selmer. I think eventually, though, it's going to run out of the instability axis. Yeah. I'm going to head over toward Batesville, everybody. Batesville. Keep that coffee warm. Wah, 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 wah. Yeah, I'm going to head back to Batesville. Not to see it's going to maintain tornado. Just look at the environment, see the surface ability continue. So, the east that might interfere with a little bit. 3:30 past here for Batesville. Technology group. Hank, great engineer. He rode with us on that Kirksville tornado intercept back during Storm Chasers 2010, 2009. And intercepted it. Measured around 100 mile per hour wind with the radar as we were scanning horizontally at the tornado that day. I think I lost the radar. Somebody stole the radar since then, but we used to have a phased array radar that was on the top of the Dominator back then. Yeah, I think I lost it. Sounds like I might need to add some oil in the old sedan here. Dominator 4.2. I just added oil to it during that recent mountain snowstorm too, when we were trying to go up above 4,000 feet to sample that snow. Tornado warning continues for Holly Springs. It's trying to ramp back up again, but still stay in your safe place, Holly Springs to Potsdam, until that tornado warning is allowed to expire. You don't want to mess around with those situations, so definitely stay in your safe place until that. The tornado warning continues, but the circulation is weakening a bit. It could be cycling, but I think that it may not. There's a lot of split going through north side of Memphis, headed up toward Osceola, Wilson, Arkansas. Yep. If you can. Thank you. Never stop chasing. We are headed up to I-55. We're almost there. Watching that storm south of Holly Springs. The tornado warning has been allowed to expire. That circulation has weakened quite dramatically, so that storm near Holly Springs doesn't look like it has tornado potential anymore. Yeah, I think I might have botched the algorithm, Brian, when we streamed that mountaintop snowstorm, and then I wasn't able to shut it off, and then the viewers just kept going down. So I think we're not getting recommended anymore. That's okay, though. What can you do? Artificial intelligence, you get on its bad side, and you're in big trouble. It's hard to get back on the good side again. It's been a long drive. I left at 7 a.m. this morning from Greenville, South Carolina. And that tornado warning has been allowed to expire there near Holly Springs. And that circulation continues to weaken quite a bit. And it just looks a little bit broad now. And here I made it to I-55. Headed back toward Batesville. Yep! Get up in there, Dan! Yeah, no tornado warnings in Oklahoma either. Severe thunderstorm warning, though, now southeast of Memphis, out near Collierville, Germantown area. That one's got some potential. Look at that right there, southeast of Germantown. Look at that. A little bit of rotation there. Wonder about that cell out near Clarendon, folks. Stuttgart area. Seems to be trying to bubble up there in Arkansas, east of Little Rock. We got some serious technical difficulties today. We're trying to resolve them right now, but we got some technical difficulties that we are working on fixing right now. So it may not resolve at all, during the overnight hours tonight, but at least we're going to be able to keep this stream going. But tomorrow, the stream will be fixed. We're going to be running the whole stream tomorrow. Expecting some significant tornado potential tomorrow as well. Southern Alabama, southern Mississippi. I'm going to pull over and do an as live up here in Batesville. Yeah, there's like 5 streams out there right now with our name on it. It's just some technical difficulties today. We're a little rusty. We haven't been out streaming in a little bit. It happens. Northwest of Collierville is trying to gain some inflow, but it's got those storms immediately off to its southeast, and those are probably going to impede inflow into that storm a little bit. That could be an issue for that mode of supercells. I'm probably going to be targeting the I-20 corridor tomorrow from Meridian up through Tuscaloosa and Birmingham. Severe thunderstorm warning includes Germantown, just to the southeast of Memphis. Tornado warning expired for Holly Springs. Even though that mesocyclone is passing just off to your southeast, the rotation has broadened out. It's not as intense as it was earlier. It does look like it has a lot of potential for large hail. Just to the east of Little Rock, that storm is trying to get a little bit more organized. The northeast of Germantown, and it's trying to rotate really off to a south. Keep my eye on that. North of Stuttgart has some potential to storm chasers too. I think that was 08, the season in 08. That Pitcher, Oklahoma tornado actually happened on the Stuttgart day. The dry line ended up lighting up back near Pitcher, Oklahoma, and Pitcher sustained a hit. on. We got 300 to 400 0 to 1 kilometer shear across eastern Arkansas and northwestern Mississippi, but it's possible that this tornado watch may not even be issued until there's a bit more confidence that convective initiation and robust supercell development is going to happen up here. Find some more fast food. And hell, might as well go for the trifecta and go for fast food on my third meal. Great to be out here, I know that. You can feel the moisture. The skin's starting to get all smooth and nice. Low level check cranking. We're delivering life-saving information the best that we can. And we're out here chasing by the seat of our pants. Captain Vanover was going to come on this chase, but he didn't like the looks of the DFW target. He's not a big fan of chasing nocturnally out here in Dixie, so he ended up not coming out for this one. It's going to save himself for the bigger chases coming up. But I am going to do a cool event with the Drone Racing League, DRL, down for their big race in Miami, February 25th. You're going to have to watch this on NBC. But I'm going to do some cool racing stuff with Alex, with Captain Vanover. Maybe he'll try to race me with a controller behind his back or something, but we're going to plan for something cool down in Miami on February 25th. Even my mom's going to be able to go to that race, which is pretty fun. Got temporarily locked out of Twitter. Jason Spin was locked out of Twitter for a little while, but he was able to use his mom's phone and get in there. He's back. But yeah, his account was temporarily out of commission there for a little while. Or do you think I should have covered the ice storm? Do you think I should have covered it in DFW or Austin? Or do you think I should have been up here in the Memphis area and worked eastern Arkansas? Definitely going to shoot an ASLive up here in Batesville for AccuWeather. So I shoot ASLives throughout the day, send them to AccuWeather, they put them on the network, and they also use my live stream. I've been working with AccuWeather since 2015 or so, in different levels. I was a full employee there for a few years. Garth Brooks, that's who it is. Just remembered it hit me. Connected wires in my head. I actually went to a George Strait concert some years ago, a long time ago, in like 2002 or 2003. My first ever girlfriend down there in Oklahoma, we went and saw George Strait. I wasn't a fan, to be honest. hours straight. I do like some country though. I like quite a bit of country. Joel got me into country big time. He grew up in western Oklahoma. He was big into country. Rest in peace, Joel. Still that severe thunderstorm warning continues up into Oakland. That's on the Tennessee side of the border. But that doesn't have much tornado potential. It just looks like it's going to be severe up there. I am watching that storm though near Clarendon, Arkansas. Let's keep an eye on that storm next. That one's in eastern Arkansas and it seems to be starting to mature a little bit. I'm going to keep a close eye on that one. I've always had the feeling that I was going to have to go back into Arkansas, get a little bit closer to the trough for this event. Surprised Brian Empfinger didn't chase Oklahoma, being kind of from the Ozark Mountain area, but I guess if you're this close, you kind of have to decide between the Delta or the Triple Point in Oklahoma. My natural instinct was to chase the Triple Point, which is basically the merger of the dry line warm front and cold front near the surface low. Usually your maximum convergence is located there. It's usually at the nose of the low-level jet. You get some back winds associated with the warm front, and that's why Triple Points usually end up being more supportive of high-end severe weather and tornadoes. But this one, the late arrival of the moisture, the new moisture, ended up being not enough. There was some skinny moisture in there. But still, I think there was a tornado just to the northeast of Ada, Oklahoma. My friend Chance, a storm chaser out there, was really close to that, and he actually got visual of that tornado. I'm going to stop here in Batesville and maybe get some fast food. I'm going to get some Taco Bell on this one. Get a bean burrito. I'm also going to analyze the models a little bit more. My hips are definitely starting to get pinched. Got to start taking performance enhancers here pretty soon, I think. Got to start taking that human growth hormone. Get a little bit less sore. That storm out near Clarendon is starting to produce some lightning, folks. So I'm thinking about going after that. It's going to be a tough chase today because these are forming just in a warm advection regime. They're not really on those well-defined boundaries or anything. Yeah, that storm out near Clarendon's trying to organize. Look at that. Starting to get a couple lightning strikes on that thing out near Brinkley. Thank you, Dana Long. Thank you. This was our storm that we were watching out near Ashland. It's starting to lose its identity a little bit. They still have that severe warning storm up near Oakland. Yeah, I'm thinking we might need to get out to eastern Arkansas. A couple of these jobs out there could go. Maybe Forest City. I wonder if this confluence line is going to fire up some storms too. Chances are there's probably not going to be anything. These bubblers are just going to, because it's just going to wait till the trough ejects tomorrow morning. But that one is trying to rotate. I have to move toward eastern Arkansas, but I want to look at the HRRR model first. Let's see exactly what some of these short-range models are showing. I want to see if it matures those cells in eastern Arkansas. Be a shame if I went all the way to eastern Arkansas and that ended up happening out here too. Looking at the 3Z HRRR, and I'm going to show it to you. So it does look like they do try to bubble a little bit. This is what the HRRR is showing in the next hour or so. It is picking up on those eastern Arkansas storms, also the ones moving into western Tennessee that are less organized. Let's go out another, that's 2 hours, that's 5Z. Wow. It does try to bring up some of those near Clarksdale too. Some of these prefrontal, see, those are all prefrontal confluence bands right there. You got one here. This is the main front back over eastern Oklahoma. And then you get these prefrontal confluence bands. That's over eastern Arkansas. This is the warm frontal zone that's lifting up into western Tennessee. Let's see what the environment looks like in general. We can just use one of the composite indices, a little bit of a cheat code here. But you got to realize what's inside those composite indices. And boy, it does appear to be honing in on eastern Arkansas. That's probably where we're going to have to go. Eastern Arkansas it is, folks. We're going for it. Yeah, going to eastern Arkansas. That's where I'm headed. Based on that environment, it looks like it's better environment out there. And I do think that there's going to be a tornado threat. Don't tell anybody that I'm headed out there, because everybody will be headed that way in a few minutes. But it's good to have everybody out there anyway. Woo! Team Dominator and the boys about to head northbound on I-55. Team Dominator and the boys are headed northbound. All right, everybody, I made my decision because looking at the HRRR, it ingests every hour the new data, knows that those storms are bubbling in eastern Arkansas, knows the evolution of the storms in Oklahoma. Definitely ingests all that new data every hour, and it looks like it expands that environment in eastern Arkansas for strong to potentially violent tornadoes to develop, maybe a little closer to midnight here in a couple hours. So I figure I'll head up there, assess the tornado potential in eastern Arkansas, and then probably about 2-3 in the morning at some point I'm going to have to position into southern Mississippi too, or maybe I'll just end up chasing the northern section. We'll just have to see. We're going to have to look at the models. In general, the storm system is kind of shearing out over that Bermuda High off the southeast. Usually that leads to kind of tightly packed prefrontal confluence lines, a little bit more of a rainmaker event, but the Storm Prediction Center has that enhanced risk area out, the 10% hatch area out to eastern Arkansas, into northwestern Mississippi, and all the way up into western Tennessee. But I'm repositioning out into eastern Arkansas, where I do think that there's going to be a threat of tornadoes here in the next few hours, the next hour or two, maybe even sooner than that too. So try to get up there. Not too far away from that zone, so hopefully I can keep the window open. I know that the audio can be a little weird, but I like that fresh air. I like the wind blowing through my hair, tickling the side of my scalp. It's all part of storm chasing. Thank you, Dana Long! Wonder if you're related to my friend Rob Long that I graduated from in high school. He had a nickname back in the day, but I'm not gonna start. Yeah, good old Rob Long, good distance runner. Thank you, Dana Long. Thanks, Brian. Everybody, thank Brian O'Toole as well. He's battling some technical difficulties today. Thank you, Ginger. Yeah, I'm going to start the Facebook stream piecewise. So there's no storms right now, but once storms fire up, then I'll fire up the Facebook stream again. Facebook doesn't like the really long streams, so I just do short pops, quick live streams. Sometimes I'll let it run, though, the whole chase, too. It's because I'm trying to massage the algorithm again. Facebook hates me. I've been shadow banned for the last year or so on there, throttling my reach, not sending out notifications, and trying to figure out how to fix it. It might just be a general throttling kind of storm chasing content in general, or severe weather content. Maybe artificial intelligence doesn't really check the box until weather is in the news or something, but definitely is a crazy time these days working with social media, trying to figure out all these algorithms and everything. Yeah, I'm probably going to chase southern Mississippi into Alabama tomorrow. It's probably going to be a classic bimodal setup. We're going to have a cluster of tornadoes north along the surface low. That's going to be lifting up toward Ohio. That could include western Kentucky, a little bit further north. And then I think there's going to be a southern cluster of tornadoes down southern Mississippi into southern Alabama, central southern Alabama, and including the I-20 corridor. You get greater instability, a little bit less favorable shear in the southern mode, but in the northern mode you get less instability and more shear. And that's how you kind of get these two clusters of tornadoes that'll happen with these large warm sectors. And I'll have to decide whether to target the surface low further north or the southern mode, southern Mississippi and central southern Alabama. I was definitely leaning toward the southern mode. But with this storm system, it has quite a robust subtropical connection. So I think with that subtropical connection, you can probably bank on a low-level jet intensifying into southern Mississippi, southern Alabama. And it is possible that there could be strong tornadoes tomorrow, and maybe clustered north and south. Bimodal. Bimode. 2 modes. Sometimes you get trimodal setups, 3 clusters of supercells throughout a large warm sector, but most of the time they're just bimodal, kind of associated with stronger wind shear north, more marginal instability north. A lot more lightning out in eastern Arkansas now, seeing in general. And I know the wind shear is strong out there, so all it takes is that trough to kind of impinge on that a little bit. Watch out. Once you get a little bit of lift, a little bit of upper support, and it starts to impinge on that area with those bubblers happening in eastern Arkansas, yeah, there's probably going to be tornadoes tonight, I think. But I don't think it's going to be that mode that already happened that moved through northern Mississippi into western Tennessee. Even though the environment appeared supportive of tornadoes out ahead of it, I think it was still too far removed from the trough. You still had the gentle subsidence that was kind of suppressing those storms a bit, keeping them a bit more messy instead of the really organized supercells. So we are heading to eastern Arkansas. That's the next target. I think some of those to the south of I-40 are going to mature as they head north. Yeah, eastern Arkansas is the play. I'm going to work the I-40 corridor west of Memphis. I'm going to get a little bit closer to the trough. Yeah. No, this will probably be like a midnight to 1, 2 a.m. type chase. So eastern Arkansas, definitely a late night chase this is going to be. And it's a tough forecast, but I'm going to be able to nail this thing. I know the wind shear is going to increase dramatically in eastern Arkansas, about 50, 60 knots. My mom just showed me a video of slugs feasting on a dead worm. Slugs and snails feasting on a dead worm. That's pretty crazy. That was good. Shannon was up there chasing. Awesome. Had a metal roof fly off in the RFD. That was with that Ada, Oklahoma storm that was tornado warned earlier. Chance and Shannon were chasing that one. And they believe they saw a wedge just to the northeast of Ada. They can't with 100% confirmation, but it sounds like it was a wedge. And on radar, it definitely looked like it wrapped up just to the northeast of Ada. Some of that terrain could also aid tornado genesis, as you have some of that higher terrain just to the east of Ada. Oh yeah, the Hurricane Ian experience, Andy Mack. It was wild. Definitely one of my more insane hurricane chasing experiences. Hurricane Katrina was pretty insane back in the day. We lost our car to that one too. Simon Brewer and I, and then ended up having to hitchhike, and eventually made it back to Oklahoma. It involved a high-speed chase with a rusty dump truck down there in Slidell, Louisiana. Next thing we know, Simon and I have this huge dump truck in a high-speed chase right on our ass, just running us all around town. And we thought it was a meth head trying to run us off the road and steal all our stuff. We were driving a Honda Accord back then. We were probably 25 years old, definitely. And I ended up being the chief of police of Slidell. There's no way to know that it was a police officer, no markings or anything on the vehicle. And we were trying to signal police in the distance to let them know there's this lunatic in a rusty dump truck chasing after us. And these police are coming, and they do a sideways slide. A bunch of them get out, and they pull weapons on us. And I was like, I'm just a storm chaser, just a storm chaser. I turn around and I see the chief of police get out of the rusty dump truck. He's got a big guy, probably 350, 400 pounds, face bright red. Comes up and starts just roughing me up, slamming me up against the car. I look over at Simon and he just starts laughing at me as I'm getting roughed up because my face was all in turmoil and everything. And I was trying to communicate to him. He was so fired up, he just wouldn't even listen. I was like, we're just a storm chaser. And he looked over at his deputies. He's like, I want DNA tests on these guys. Don't let them out till I get back. And the police officer hopped in our car, still had the gun pulled, and escorted Simon and I back to the jail cell. And we ended up riding out a majority of the first half of the hurricane in the basement jail cell, this little 3-foot by 3-foot jail cell. Tried to communicate to the police officers and let them know this is a big misunderstanding. We're just storm chasers, but they wouldn't even make eye contact with us when we were in jail. And the chief of police never came back until the eye wall started to arrive. And I was worried we were going to get flooded out and potentially drown, and they'd forget about us in the jail cell. But he finally came back, and this was several hours later. I mean, it was crazy, and they finally let us out, and then suddenly they acted like they were all our friends when they let us out and realized that it was a mistake and realized that we were just storm chasers. But by that time, the floodwaters were rising up too high. We went out to our car. We were about to make a run for southern Mississippi where we wanted to ride out Hurricane Katrina. And the floodwaters were too high. They started rising up around the car. Simon and I started wading out to the car. I look down, I see these floating clumps of fire ants everywhere just sitting there. You bump up against one of those and they'll just cover your body with fire ants and just light you up like a Christmas tree. But we brought our chainsaw in, all our supplies, our water. We couldn't get a lot of stuff out of the car. We had to leave some of it out there. Left the chainsaws with the police. But then after the hurricane, 15 feet of water, everything rose, big storm surge, and it was impossible to get out. And then all these fishing boats appeared, and the police wanted to bring us to the conference center where we knew it was going to be rough. We'd probably lose our supplies, who knows what would happen. So at the rendezvous point, we just started walking on an elevated railroad track and walked like 10 miles all the way up to the main interstate. We were climbing over trees, and we finally got out of the flood zone. Got up to, I think, Interstate 12, might have been Interstate 10. And we saw a police officer up there, and we said, hey, we started walking west. Can we walk 30 miles to Covington? It was just starting to get dark. And he said, sure, you can, but no shelters are open. Everything's closed. Road's closed. No one's going to come to help you. So we started walking west toward Covington, Louisiana. We figured maybe we could find shelter there. And we're walking, and I see headlights behind us, and I put my thumb up, and the guy stopped. Just a random pickup truck, the only one out there just after the storm had gone through, just driving around. And he let us hop in the back of the pickup and then brought us all the way to Covington, Louisiana. And the story doesn't end there. I got to answer this call from my mom. Hello?
Hi, honey.
Hey, how's it going? No, the chase is just getting started. Yeah, the chase is just getting started, so I'm actually headed to eastern Arkansas.
Jesus, is anybody with you?
No, I'm by myself. But everybody's out here. I mean, all the storm chasers are in their own vehicles, so yeah. Oh yeah, you're never alone out here. Yeah, so that's good. But yeah, I think I'm targeting eastern Arkansas here in the next couple hours. I think the tornado potential is just going to skyrocket. And then tomorrow in southern Alabama, southern Mississippi. But it's a good thing I think I didn't go to the triple point because the daytime storms didn't happen up there. So going to Dixie Alley was the right call. Yeah. Alrighty. Oh, it's fine. It's totally safe. It's not dangerous. No worries. Yeah, oh no, you can see them coming. Radar and everything now. It's not dangerous at all. Alrighty. Alright, I'll keep you updated. I'll probably stop somewhere around the Memphis area and then blast to southern Mississippi tomorrow. All right. Love you. Bye. But yeah, the Hurricane Ian story was also pretty crazy. But it was just kind of riding it out. The shelter we knew was safe. Chris Florida Tornado's mom lives there on the southern tip of Pine Island. And the hurricane ended up turning to the right. We woke up the next morning. It was about to be a Cat 5. He evacuated his mom, and I was going to go north and try to get it in Punta Gorda. But then as I went up there, I'm sitting there staring at the radar. It's wobbling. You just constantly stare at the radar with these hurricanes because they wobble a lot of times, and you want to get the strongest right eye wall when they come in. And I was talking to Chris. I'm like, we got to get back to your mom's house. And he agreed, and he went back there as well. I went back there, blasted south. He got there way before I did, and I had to actually go through some storm surge, some downed trees. Barely made it to the southern tip of the island, but the surge was just coming in right when I got there. I saw it, got out of the car, and then jumped the fence, and I think a lot of people thought that I just found a random place and like broke into it, but that of course wasn't the case. was actually Chris's place, and I wanted to feel the surge, immersive coverage. And it was the early surge. It was just coming in. And of course I didn't want to get sucked out to sea, but the water ended up rising like another 5-10 feet from that. And the house was a little bit elevated, but it was on stilts, of course. And the thing was an absolute fortress. We knew it could survive a Category 5, but it was swaying back and forth. Smoke in the house. The generator got taken out. And there was a period where the water was coming up, and Chris was like, move your car, yeah. Just freaking out. I should have just left the car out at the street, and it still probably would have been swamped. But I moved it to the center of the yard, and I'm sitting there thinking cars in park. I get there, I mess with the stream a little bit, and then I get out and I start working the rest of the storm for the next few hours. Chris moves his Tahoe up to the platform on the front of the house, kind of up on the porch, a little bit elevated. It was a Tahoe, so it was higher up. His ended up surviving, believe it or not. I think it had a lot of problems afterward because of the salt water. All the windows were blown out. The tiles that were coming were just like bombs falling everywhere. So that was the most deadly part, were probably those roof tiles that were falling everywhere. Extreme winds of the right eye wall came in. Definitely the strongest hurricane winds I've ever experienced in that right eye wall. Winds gusting up to 150 miles an hour. I wanted to be outside in it and kind of use the structure, work the downward side of the structure the whole entire time, and was able to get outside when the right eye wall came in, and then we just wobbled into the eye and the blue sky appeared. The blue sky above appeared. The storm surge kept rising. And when I came out after a couple of hours for that right eye wall, I look and I'm like, where the hell's my car? The water was way up. And I see the rear end sticking above the water, just bobbing up and down on one of those streams on the left side of the home that was coming in. And the car I knew was in trouble, but I ran out to the car to try to see what I could do, maybe turn it off or something. And I was in the storm surge, sitting in my car, the roof tiles kept hitting it, blowing out the back window. Hit the gas, and then whoop, the needle went to empty, and it pulled in all that salt water, and that was already game over at that point. Salt water just does a number on the electronics of the cars. Devastated to see the Dominator 4 taken out like that. Of course, I've never made an insurance claim in my entire life. Until Hertz has been coming after me for the loss damage waivers that they're trying to void. So now my insurance company's working with Hertz, but they're coming after me to try to pay all those damages. I'm on the do not rent list now. Even though I rented a Hertz minivan down there after Ian to go back and try to retrieve the Surgeonator sensor that I deployed on the pier there right at Fort Myers Beach. So we had to go back to try to recover that, but we couldn't get onto Fort Myers Beach, so I ended up having to get a boat ride with my Navy SEAL friend Martin Brittingham, Brandon Clement with Weather Chasing, Jonathan Petramala, and Bear, a guy named Bear based out of Fort Myers out there. It was his boat. Great person. Also a storm chaser, and he brought us out there, and we were able to jump in and run up to the pier and then disconnect the Surgeonator. Unfortunately, it only collected data up until the pier was wiped out, so we didn't have the surge. We had it up until the pier was taken out, but didn't have it beyond that, unfortunately. But then the next day, we started doing search and rescue. Chris knew a lot of people around there. There was a woman that had Alzheimer's too that got separated. Yeah, I'm going to Arkansas, buddy. Oh yeah. Yeah, that supercell's trying to mature there near I-40, especially the one south of I-40, down southwest of Clarendon again. But I'm going to be targeting that near Forest City and just to the west of Forest City, which I'll be there in less than an hour. So then during Hurricane Ian, we were there for days afterward too, and we started running low on supplies. Things started getting a little weird around town. The Army helicopters were coming in and taking out the elderly and the sick and people that wanted to go. And so I called my friend Gary Airboat with the Cajun Navy and said, "Help me out, man. I need to ride out of here. If you're near Pine Island, can I hitch a ride?" And he came and found me. Man, I actually was at the hotspot, the mobile hotspot that was set up. And he said, "Meet at the KOA campground. There should be waterfront access there." But I had to walk like 3 miles up there, and I had limited water. And I did a stupid decision and ended up walking up there. And it could have been bad because I got up to the KOA campground and found out that there was no waterfront access. And I was out of water, and I was like, damn it, I'm going to dehydrate out here and die. But I started walking back to the hotspot, put my thumb up, and somebody picked me up again. Brought me back to the hotspot. I was trying to connect to the internet to see if I could get a hold of Gary again. And I'm sitting there for the longest time, and suddenly I hear someone yell my name, "Hey, Reed!" I look up, and it's Gary, my Cajun Navy friend, with his airboat standing there. So, but it was definitely one of the more crazy hurricane experiences I've had. But Michael, Katrina, Hurricane Rita was nuts too. Where we had to make a splint out of a pizza box, and the security guard that was there at Hurricane Rita almost bled out, and he ended up breaking his wrist. I think he was on meth or something too, on some type of a drug. But there in Orange, Texas, we decided to ride out the hurricane at the hotel there, and there happened to be a security guard that was tasked with staying behind and watching over the hotel. And he ended up kind of being a little crazy because in the middle of the hurricane, he suddenly was like, "My mom is still in her house." And so we went to check on her. Simon was with me again for this one, Simon Brewer. And he actually went with him out to his mom's place to check on her. And he jumped out of the car, ran up to the house, and punched the window open with his hand. And he's bleeding everywhere. Ended up breaking his wrist. And she was never in the house. So she actually went to a shelter, and she was never in the house. So I don't know what was going on there. But then he was injured, and so we brought him back to the hotel. And I ended up having to he lived in the hotel, and he was all soaking wet. And we're like, "Do you have any clothes?" And he said, "Yeah, I live in the hotel." So he was all groggy and out of it. And I actually had to bring him up and dress him in a new pair of pants. He's a big guy, all out of it. It's one of the worst experiences in my life. But anyway, then we made a splint out of a pizza box and secured his broken wrist, put butterfly bandages on the open cuts, and then he just whimpered. We had to keep an eye on him, but the whole entire hurricane, until we were finally able to get out and bring him to a hospital and get him emergency attention. But that was probably one of the crazier hurricane experiences there, Hurricane Rita. Things always go crazy during hurricanes because, the crazy people will a lot of times stay behind and ride it out. Storm chasers are down there. Police officers, they're not kind of this conglomerate of group of people that usually crazy things end up happening, but it's such a slow-moving storm, you can't really comprehend the curvature. It's very different than a tornado. It's a much bigger storm. You're kind of immersed in it. It appears like a straight line wind. The winds don't feel nearly as strong as a tornado. I could drive around, well, not safely, but I was able to drive around in the eye wall of a Category 4 Hurricane Ida and Hurricane Michael. So, you could definitely work the wind and shelter yourself using shelters around there, but flying debris, flying projectiles, of course, are incredibly dangerous. So it's these bubblers that I'm watching right now in eastern Arkansas, out near Brinkley and southwest of Clarendon. And if these are able to mature, then these are probably going to become tornado producers. Look at all that lightning just south of it. Hunter, Brinkley area. When the lightning frequency goes up, it means that the tornado is, or the storm is intensifying. In general, it means that the updraft strength is stronger, and in general, it means that the storm is intensifying. Yeah, warm advection is not a reliable source of deep lift. It's a low level lift. That's why you get these kind of warm advection showers that will develop. Warm advection is a source of low level lift. It's not a reliable source of deep lift. So I wouldn't be surprised if these things just bubble all night like this until the trough arrives. Just would not be surprised. There's a good chance we're just going to be out here chasing bubblers the whole entire night. I'm passing the radar site here now near Memphis. Yeah, there's no deep lift out here. It's not really a thermodynamics issue. Still going to Eastern Arkansas, folks. After just driving around in circles trying to figure out how to turn around back there. Still think these storms are going to try to mature south of Brinkley. I was thinking about getting some Taco Bell here while I still can now. Southwest of Winnie is trying out. Now, one down south of Brinkley is really starting to intensify a bit in terms of lightning, but they still don't look like supercells. They're trying, but I think they're having trouble rooting still. But that top down near Clarendon, Arkansas looks pretty favorable. Once they root, they should be able to get less of that meridional storm motion too. They get a little bit more west to east oriented storm motion. Starting to get some rain here too. There's a good chance that this event's just going to bubble all night. And we may not see any tornadoes, which would of course be a good thing. But I'm going to go out here in eastern Arkansas and make sure that they don't happen on my watch. Some major technical difficulties on the stream so far today, but this one seems to be doing a little better. I'm running like 3 streams today. This one is doing a little better. Watching these eastern Arkansas storms, that Clarendon one, the echo top's a little bit wider on it. It wants to turn into a supercell, it appears. I'm about 3 miles from 240, and I'm going to head west toward Little Rock. stream later. The storm's intensifying southwest of Brinkley right now, Brinkley, Arkansas, Brian. It's happening. The outbreak's just about to begin right now. Yep. I'm pretty sure we're going to be on a tornado warning here in the next 45 minutes. That environment in eastern Arkansas is incredibly conducive for tornado potential. Got like 300 plus 0 to 1 kilometer shear. I'll take that route. All right, good night. Fixed it. Wow, that brightens up so nice. What a beautiful phone camera that is. 4.3 miles, and we're headed west on 40. And then we are going to be headed right into the corner pocket. What's that? Yeah, southwest of Brinkley, that storm is really starting to mature. New mesoscale discussion just issued with a tornado watch expected soon. I'm going to read you this mesoscale discussion, just came out. Of course, once again, the word modest being used. As the center of a modest surface cyclone migrates from near McAllister toward Fayetteville in the vicinity through 6 to 8Z, flow around 850 is expected to increase in excess of 40 knots in a broadening swath centered around Arkansas into the lower Mississippi River Valley. Within this regime, deeper low-level moisture appears likely to focus along a confluence zone well ahead of the main surface front, across northeastern Louisiana to near Memphis. Convection continues to gradually deepen along this corridor with thunderstorms and large-scale ascent. Photographs may become most conducive for the risk of tornadoes before trending more linear tonight. Here it comes. .9 miles, and we're taking I-40 all the way. That should fix it for good. Need to get some flex tape on this phone, and then that would anchor it in place forever. 40 west toward Little Rock. There it is. All right, mesoscale discussion is out. New mesoscale discussion. Tornado threat's definitely increasing. I bet this on-ramp was dangerous during the ice storm. Dang, my seat heater's been on this whole time. Yep. That 1 year Brinkley, that one has the potential of maturing into a storm. It's definitely got a lot of lightning. It's already a storm, of course. It doesn't have much rotation, though. I wonder if these storms are going to do. I bet they'll all at once just ramp up. It's usually what happens once a missing ingredient becomes available for these storms, so they become efficient tornado producers. Everybody, please smash that like button if you can. Much appreciated. We had some technical difficulties today, so our stream is hurting a bit. That's okay, though. No. Eastern Arkansas now, dropping right into the center of the mesoscale discussion. Expecting the tornado threat to begin to increase here over the next couple of hours. Probably be more like 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. That's when I expect the most significant tornado threat to occur. like some milky skies out here right now with low-level jet, but you can definitely see the rapid south to north motion of the low-level flow. You can certainly see the low-level jet out here. And that Brinkley storm continues to intensify. Brinkley, Arkansas. It's near Fargo and Brinkley. It doesn't even have a severe thunderstorm warning right now, but it does have a decent amount of lightning. It's starting to get that sharp gradient of reflectivity too, right along the southern section of the storm. That means that the inflow is increasing into the storm too. That's how you can tell with that sharp gradient. That means the inflow is starting to ramp up into that supercell. Continues to intensify. Getting a little bit of rotation even. It's right over I-40, so what I could do is kind of approach on I-40, then go north and get to it as it's moving southwest to northeast. Only about 30 miles east of Forest City. That was where I initially intercepted that ice storm last year, you remember. That ice storm. And then I ended up dropping back toward Mount Ida and dug out some incredible quartz points. Be a good spot to stop for food here, but there's no time for that because we got to get on this storm near Brinkley. I'll tell you that right now. Not effing around. Yeah, the threat of tornadoes is starting to increase out here. We've got a mesoscale discussion. It includes Memphis. So if you know anybody that lives in this area, share the stream if they want some ground truth. I also report on the storms, on the meteorology, what's happening, the environments that these storms are moving into. There's that big casino, Southland Casino. Perfect place for a man of action. Starting to rotate a little bit west of Brinkley. It's trying to go full-blown supercell. When I get to Forest City, I could easily go north toward Winnie, Cherry Valley, and get on that storm. Another one maybe down near Dermont is trying to happen. But I think that you're going to get a lot more forcing a little bit further north. We had the one tornado warning near Holly Springs that didn't produce anything. Tried to anchor on the warm front up there, but didn't make it. We did have a tornado warning to Ada, Oklahoma that may have produced a tornado just to the northeast of Ada, but thankfully missed town there in southern Oklahoma. Lightning frequency is ramping up dramatically on that Brinkley storm, but it might be starting to fluff out a little. I'm trying to see what its mesocyclone is doing. It doesn't have a potent mesocyclone. Little bean-shaped storm right there. But there it is, near Fargo, Arkansas. Look at all the lightning strikes. 2 lightning strikes on it now. A lot of positively charged lightning strikes left in its wake. But it's trying to root, and it's still trying. Could become a supercellular producer. Look at that. It doesn't. The tornado threat does include the Memphis area, but look at all that lightning right there in the Bears cage. 3 strikes just southwest of Fargo. That lightning is going to be crucial for us to be able to see these storms. Another little storm up near Jonesboro, but it doesn't look as interesting. Another lightning strike out near Forest City. I don't know if it will develop, but it does have a lot of lightning. Wow. You can look at echotops on your radar to really find the most mature storms. And look at that storm near Fargo. It's not surprisingly has the highest tops too. A lot of lightning strikes, like 5, 6, 7, 8, bunch of lightning strikes down there. So that one's still cranking. And we do have some new tops out near Forest City too, but the convection's just gradually getting more healthy, getting more vigorous, getting higher up in the storm. We're not moving very fast. Northeast at about 30, maybe 40 miles an hour. These next few radar scans are going to be crucial to determine whether this storm intensifies or not. It's definitely getting a hook wrapping around the backside, though. Oh yeah, that mesocyclone started to increase just to the west of Fargo, Arkansas. That storm would have to turn right, though, to start producing a tornado. It's moving north-northeast right now. But I can see it headed up toward Winnie. It's trying to turn right. See, the upper level flow is trying to pull it off to the right a little bit. So I'm going to get to Forest City and then head north, I think, and try to keep that storm in play. Banking on it, turn it to the right. I may head up toward Winnie, Cherry Valley eventually. Welcome everybody. Please dominate that like button. We had some technical difficulties today, and the algorithm's making us pay. Storm chase mode still dominating. Thank you, Ruth. I'm going to activate the Facebook live stream here shortly too, as I get a little closer to that storm. I'm just glad the stream is working again. right, guys, we're going to keep going west to Forest City and probably cut north to keep that storm in play. It's trying to wrap its hook around the backside. Kind of feeling the wind shear to the northwest of Fargo. Look at that. It's trying. A lot of lightning strikes there too, just south of the updraft, just northwest of Fargo. But it's still lifting mostly due north, and that's going to have to turn right. And once it starts turning right, though, I think that the tornado threat's going to ramp up significantly with that storm. Cotton plant to Fargo. A little bit of inflow. Oh, it's starting to ramp up. See how that inflow just ramped up like that? Oh, yeah. To turn around, turn right. I'd like to see some of these lightning strikes near Forest City. Now I have to go north of Forest City. Minutes, almost there. I want to go to Cherry Valley. I'm going to stop at Forest City and then sling an ASLive for Accu. And then follow that storm maybe out near Cherry Valley if it continues to mature. Got another lightning strike. I'm not sure if that one's going to make it or not. We'll have to see. It looks like it's trying to split. Ooh, yeah, the echo tops are rocketing on that thing now over Fargo. Look at the echo tops on that storm over Fargo now. Look at all the lightning on the backside of it, like 4 or 5 strikes, new strikes. I really like how the echo tops too are going up downstream of the updraft a bit, so it's getting a lot more robust. Tornado potential is definitely increasing on that storm. It's probably going to be headed toward Palestine. Up near Hunter if it continues that meridional motion though. So it's coming right up that road toward Hunter, but I think it's going to turn right eventually. Oh, look at this latest scan. Wow. I would say that thing is maturing and rooting just south of Hunter. Wouldn't be surprised if that ends up going tornadic at some point. And we're going to be on it. Getting to Forest City there just to the east of it, and I'm going to go north toward Winnie, and we're going to chase this storm. I think most of the storm chasers, they don't know a lot of meteorology, but they look at the SPC products. So I'm sure that they saw that mesoscale discussion come out and then started blasting west toward eastern Arkansas. But one thing I've learned is that most of them don't know a lot of meteorology, the newer chasers at least. Hopefully over the coming years they start trying to learn to meet meteorology, try to get a top-down forecasting process or We had Cameron Nixon that came and spoke at ChaserCon this year, which was awesome, giving an incredible discussion of photographs and low-level storm relative inflow and storm mass and everything. So I just kind of want to see a general, focus on learning the science of meteorology amongst the storm chasing community. I think that'd be awesome. Just kind of fly around driving after the biggest storm all over the place, and it's a little bit more of a crapshoot too. I wonder if this storm is even going to make it. Even though it has high echo tops, there's a decent chance that it doesn't even make it. It doesn't survive, which would still be a good thing for everybody. But the mesocyclone seems to be ramping up, even though the reflectivity pattern isn't as favorable as it was. The echo tops are still very high. Its echo tops are actually higher now than they have been as they're driving into some of that convection near Forest City. Look at that. Fargo to Hunter. Watch how it evolves. It seems to be right over that mesocyclone. If it's even intensifying a bit. Also watching that one down near Dermont, west of Greenville. My location, coming in hot. 20 minutes from Forest City, and then we head north. Now that storm needs to turn right. Lightning frequency still continues to increase. Fort Smith, it looks like you got some severe weather heading your way. Holy cow. Looks like a straight line wind event is heading toward Fort Smith, Arkansas. That's the main line. There it is. Fort Smith, severe thunderstorm warning. Yellow box just issued for you. Includes Fort Smith, Van Buren, back toward Fort Coffee, Long, Cedarville. There it is. Look at that. Possibly some straight line winds with that. Headed toward Muldrow, Long, Bellefonte, Remy. 60-mile-an-hour winds are going to be likely with that storm. Yellow box has been issued. Eventually this line is going to catch all these bubblers in Arkansas, and then it's going to turn into more of a squall line situation. 11:22 is the time. are on Little Rock radar too. Rotation still is ramping up. The inflow. Lightning frequency is really starting to ramp up on our target storm, which is just northeast of Brinkley a ways. Look at that pink. That's storm relative inflow flowing into the mesocyclone. And then look at all those lightning strikes right there. Oh yeah, there's some lightning. Lightning frequency is ramping up significantly on that storm now. Echo top still going up. Storm continues to intensify. Maturing storm near Hunter, Arkansas right now. Echo top's exploding on it. I'm going to get gas at Forest City and then blast north and watch this thing. Some lightning. There's like 300 0 to 1 kilometer storm relative helicity in this storm, so I mean if it matures it should produce a tornado. Tops have come back down again. The latest scan. It's getting interfered with a little bit by those storms immediately to its southwest. I think that we're seeing all the lightning with that storm. If it didn't have those storms immediately to its southwest, I think that it would be continuing its intensification trend. Lightning's still pretty high right near that appendage. Got that sickle shape just northeast of Hunter there. Dermot. It is getting more robust storm relative inflow. And the lightning frequency just continues to crank. Look at that. It's probably as it's starting to merge with those storms right behind it, maybe increasing the mass a little bit. We'll see. That might even... may not make it. It's close. That upper support, though, is trying to impinge on it. Yeah, the bubbler down near Greenville, too. Down near Reed, Arkansas! Whoop, whoop, whoop. It's gotta be a nice place. Yep! Yeah, it's not... it's definitely weakening a little because of the interference with the storm immediately behind it. We'll have to see what it's able to do. That might actually help. I'm going to get gas here at Forest City and then blast north toward Cherry Valley and see what that storm has in store for us. Should be an easy approach angle. And I do anticipate that thing will turn right shortly too. 9.7 miles, and I head northbound to keep up with that storm. Those lightning strikes in the distance are all due to our storm, the intensifying supercell out here. Everybody, this is live storm chase mode. Headed westbound toward Forest City. Supercell is intensifying out there. And it's headed up toward Cherry Valley, Arkansas right now. Mesoscale discussion is in place. Tornado watch is expected shortly out here. Storm chase mode, of course, fully operational here. Tornado watch is coming soon here, if it's not already issued. It's probably going to be when that upper trough ejects between about 12 and 3 in the morning. 6.9 miles. I'm going to stop for gas and then head north and try to keep pace with this supercell storm. Ooh, yeah, there's some lightning off in the distance with it. .5 miles. There's a little bit of rain with that bubbler. The storm near Cherry Valley is getting interfered with by a storm immediately to its southwest. There's a little bit of an updraft. I wonder if that's going to prevent it from intensifying. It does seem to be losing its identity a little bit as it's interfering with those other updrafts. Need a little bit more flow aloft, I think, to really cause these storms to ignite. You need that lift. You need deep lifts through the entire troposphere to get these to root. And that won't happen until the trough ejects, which looks like that's going to be between about 6 and 8 Z, between about midnight and 2 in the morning. Fine, no worries, I'm a machine. Pretty much never get tired. I do get tired, but yeah, but look at that lightning right there too. Big lightning with our storm that's just off to the north. But it's weakening. Right when I started this live, it was intensifying, and now it looks like it's merging with those storms immediately off to the south. It's possible these storms may never fire tonight. And they may not actually develop tornado potential tonight. But yeah, it's heading up. It's just southwest of Cherry Valley. That's the one that I'm watching right now. Lightning off to the north. But yeah, as that bubbler was trying to intensify now. Good news is that I think that it's probably not going to be a large-scale nocturnal tornado outbreak. This parameter is 321 kilometers. All it takes is for a supercell to root, and it's going to develop tornado potential. And I'm just going to keep on tracking these to the north of Forest City, possibly up toward Cherry Valley, but the storm is starting to cluster out a little bit. Definitely starting to interfere with that storm a little bit off to its west. You see some of those other updrafts? They're interfering with it, and it's definitely starting to lose some of its buoyancy. Gotta get gas first, and then I'm headed north. Keep up with this storm. Uh-oh. Oh, those are just people sleeping. I thought there's a traffic jam ahead. Mickey D's, y'all. Mickey D's, y'all. Get some gas first. And then analyze the radar, see what storms we got, analyze the models, take a look at tomorrow. Got a snap and as live too for AccuWeather. Man, it died. Which is good. That's a good thing for this area, for these storms not to thrive. But look at that storm there just west of Winnie. A blob. You got this. Renegade on south of Watson. Got some potential, but there's another out here out east. The big event out here in Arkansas. Big hail producers out here. Look at that hail producer. Can't cover. It looks like we might be trying to get a little band of convection going from near Little Rock up toward Batesville, Arkansas, but still some light on that bubble west of Greenville, but it looks really anemic north of Greenville. This looks like a dud. Tell you what, looks like a dud. Tell you what. Tell you what. Feels stable in here. Out here. Definitely feels stable. No lift yet. Well, that's the issue. That's why this hasn't happened yet. The trough is still lagging away to the west. I'm about to get some Mickey D's, y'all. 24-hour McDonald's. Almost pulled the tank out again. Yes, McDonald's 24/7. Yes. I'm gonna eat this and then might position for tomorrow at this rate. I'll look at the models coming up here, and I want to see if any of these storms are going to intensify out here over eastern Arkansas. They're trying to maybe develop down near Clarksdale, a couple other bubblers. Maybe some of that lift is starting to impinge on this area. New mesoscale out ahead of that severe line. New MCD, mesoscale discussion out there. Yeah, the chase is not over until your head hits the pillow. Remember that. Might get a Big Mac. Sometimes those give me issues. Sometimes you just have to go with a simple quarter pounder of cheese. Yes. Hey, you guys open? Nice. Thank you.
Thanks for seeing McDonald's.
Hi. Could I please do a number 2C quarter pounder deluxe?
Medium or large?
I'll do a medium.
What's the drink?
I'll do a Coke to drink, please.
Anything else?
Yeah, could I also get an additional cheeseburger by itself?
Maybe out for you.
Yep, that's it.
1346 to the first window.
Thank you. Let's see my credit card. Thank you. Car was making some weird noises there. Car was. Thank you. Start looking at the models for tomorrow, everybody. Yeah, the stream so far has been, the chase so far has been a little bit slower, and that's just because the trough hasn't ejected yet. Ooh, I'm gonna have to get down to Meridian by 3 p.m. Gotta be in Meridian by 3. Boy, look at this. That's your 0 to 1 kilometer EHI. Whole state of Mississippi looks quite conducive for tornadoes tomorrow, even by about noon to 1 p.m. And the nose of that instability goes all the way up into western Tennessee, western Kentucky, and that's going to spread east with time. Watch as we forecast that out a little bit. And it does increase too. Come on. Uh-oh. That northern Mississippi target right there, folks. Look at that out near Tupelo. Oh, I already paid, didn't I? Sorry. I'm analyzing the weather. I've just been chasing storms around here, and none of them are happening. I just totally forgot. Sorry.
It's okay.
Got a little sidetracked between the pay window and this one. Thanks.
Charles and Becky, have a great night.
You too. Getting some rain. Then later on, the threat kind of shifts a little bit further south. So initially kind of northeast Mississippi, southwest Tennessee through the early to mid-afternoon, and then it shifts into central Tennessee. That's going to be up near Nashville, down through eastern Mississippi, western Alabama, right in there. It looks like a pretty significant outbreak that could happen. And along the surface low track up into Indiana. Looks like more of a low shear high cape setup up there. But there you can see it. Tomorrow's event. You gotta be kidding me. Kind of forecast sounding down there near Meridian. Not bad, folks. 1 kilometer wind at 40 knots. Decently shaped photograph. 72 over 68. A little over 200 0 to 1 helicity, but let's look at about 2 p.m. They're near Tupelo. There's your elevated mix layer, at least. A little bit of forcing, steeper lapse rates. 1 kilometer wind near 40. Decently shaped photograph. But notice how the photographs are a little bit flatter, and that's because the trough is mostly ejecting up toward the Great Lakes region. Time to eat my quarter pounder deluxe, y'all. Mickey D's, y'all. Remember that commercial back in the 90s? We're getting some weather outside. Yeah, most college nights did end with 10 sliders, or we always used to go to Pita Pit too afterward. Just be 10 going to Pita Pit. They're on Campus Corner. Yeah. I did college 17 years continuously enrolled, so I got my college experience, that's for sure. Yeah, Fort Smith is getting rocked right now with straight line winds and hail. Or it's about to come into Fort Smith. It's in Fort Smith now. Cedarville to Rudy area got hit pretty hard with wind-driven hail there just to the north of Fort Smith. Yeah, I gotta decide now whether I'm gonna do an all-night chase or position for tomorrow too. That's what I'm wondering if I should do now. But I gotta shoot an AS live really quick for action here in front of the McDonald's. Let me do this really quick. Stand by. do it in front of the car if you want. Terrible ads live. All right. I just did it. If you guys want to watch my as live, you can. This is what I send into AccuWeather. And a tornado watch might be issued later on this evening as a surface low moves from the Fayetteville area into southern Missouri. That's going to bring some lift over these showers and could help them to mature into supercell storms. That's what's been missing so far across the Mississippi River Delta. We've had gentle sinking motion across this region with anticyclonic curvature aloft. The main trough has been lagging off to the west, and that led to severe weather to the north of the DFW Metroplex into southeastern Oklahoma, prompting a couple of tornado warnings out there. And a large wall cloud and even a possible tornado happened just to the northeast of Ada, Oklahoma. And those continue to push off to the east, bringing wind-driven hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds through the Fort Smith area, pushing through Arkansas. Eventually, all these storms are going to congeal into a squall line with embedded tornado potential. Damaging straight-line winds could also be an issue. But if a storm is able to mature here in eastern Arkansas, it's likely going to develop tornado potential because the low-level jet just above the ground is ripping out of the south at about 50 knots. And that creates strong low-level wind shear that's sufficient to produce strong to even potentially violent tornadoes. But if you don't have a storm, a mature storm, you're not going to realize that tornado potential. And that's what I'm hoping for here tonight across eastern Arkansas, is that there's just too many small storms and not enough lift for those to mature into supercells. But it definitely has potential. There's a scary environment in place here across eastern Arkansas and through the Memphis area. And that's also going to continue. Okay. Thanks, guys. Tuning into my As Live report. I'm going to upload this to AccuWeather. Those storms are maturing off to the west, definitely. That storm also southeast of Memphis is trying to get going. Storm south of Mountainburg, Arkansas is definitely a massive hail producer. Chester, Mountainburg, north of Alma. There's I-40, there's Mulberry. I intercepted a big-time wall cloud there during the pandemic in 2020. And it is pulling an inflow there. Look at that, south of Mountainburg, north of Dyer. It does appear to be pulling in some southeasterly inflow into that. But it's almost behaving more like a bookend vortex at this point. Ooh, severe thunderstorm warning in Poplar Bluff. But boy, this stuff is just a mess. Jeez. Back east, I think. Well, hold on. I got a cheeseburger still in here. Still gotta eat my cheeseburger. It is very stagnant, this atmosphere. That's a bad cheeseburger, I think. Can you believe I drove all the way out here for this? Definitely shouldn't have eaten that much fast food today. Headed back east. I don't even know why, but I am. big enhanced risk all the way up. Goes from like southeastern Louisiana all the way up. Yeah, we kept held in DFW. Storm initiated up well northwest of Jacksboro. A cluster of storms initiated, then they finally matured as they moved up into southern Oklahoma. Big hail producers up there, then all the way up to Fort Smith. But yeah, it ended up being a lot further north than I thought it was going to be. Anytime you get a little bit of that low-level convective inhibition, though, that sets the stage for big-time hail producers. You get a lot of bulk shear up there, slightly elevated storm for some reason. They produce a lot more hail. Maybe they don't have as much warm air getting infused into the updraft. Less warm rain processes, less latent heat release. Yep. I do wonder if some of those down near the Delta might happen, but starting to get a little more lightning just off to the south of I-40, but they're all just kind of popcorn variety storms. Got to send this ASLive up to AccuWeather. People that were driving by were asking me about the tornado potential. I told them if a storm forms, it might cause big problems, but it's not looking like a storm's going to form. Unfavorable trough shape. If that European model from 2 to 3 days ago barreled into the southern plains like it was showing, then it likely would have been a significant severe weather event. But because it kind of barreled in a little bit and then lifted up and over the ridge off the southeastern U.S., once that happened, then you lost a lot of lift. Your winds all became parallel, your prefrontal confluence lines tightened up, and then you just kind of got a general warm advection showers. But warm advection is not a reliable source of lift. It's based on the low levels of the atmosphere. To get deep lift through the whole troposphere, you need an ejecting trough. You need those height falls, the cyclonic curvature loft, and you definitely need a lot more lift. But I'm thinking about positioning for tomorrow at this point. Just trying to upload my ASLive to AccuWeather, and then so I send it up to them, and then they will put it on the air. If there's somebody still in studio right now, it is about 12:24. Getting blown around out here in this Dominator 4.2 a little bit. Still monitoring these storms, but man, they're definitely missing a big ingredient. I think that it's the lift in the atmosphere. Pretty sure that's the ingredient that's being missed. Yeah, there's nothing out there right now. Warnings aren't showing up. So our warnings aren't showing up on here. That phone is just completely shutting down pretty much. That's okay. Speaking of shutting down, I'm considering shutting down this stream again just because I'm not going to sit here and tell stories the whole time. I mean, I can, but I know everybody's here to watch storm chase mode, and with these storms starting to die out a little bit like this, if I had a target to chase, I would do it, but the bubblers, the renegades are just not happening. And there's just not enough lift in the mid and upper levels of the troposphere. You really need something to steepen those lapse rates and just provide a little bit of gentle lift. It's almost like a favorable phase of the MJO moving over the Atlantic, and then it invigorates all those tropical cyclones out over the Atlantic. Kind of a similar deal that happens. Last year I didn't get on the board until March. I think the first couple of weeks of March. The Crockett, Texas tornado after dark, we got on that one. That was kind of the first tornado I think I saw last year. No, yeah, I think I might have got, maybe I got one in January. We got a couple QLCS tornadoes in February. Get in a workout tomorrow morning before the chase. Whenever I'm able to pump iron or get in a quick run before a chase, I think it kind of evens out the adrenal glands a little bit, makes the chase go a lot more smooth. What do you guys think? Should I keep the mustache? It just keeps growing in size, and eventually it does become almost unmanageable when it gets so huge, but I feel more gritty with it. I feel like I got a bigger work. What do you guys think? Dixie Alley mustache here, I guess. Storm chasing season, got to keep the upper lip from getting too dry. Thanks everybody for getting this chase. Time we probably should have been at this point in Oklahoma, as it definitely did have some tornado warnings out there. Thank you, everybody. Tomorrow will be much better. I'm going to wake up early, get this thing started, get it optimized, and I'm going to go live on Facebook the whole time too. My plan tomorrow is just get a tornado and maybe drive into it. That's my plan tomorrow. Of course, would love to start doing some science again. Maybe later on this season when we get the Dominator 3 going, we'll be able to do a lot more science. Got to get insurance on that vehicle. It's time to get moving. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. Thank you, Team Dominator members. Got to do a lot more educational material, too, for the Team Dominator stuff. Do some live streams, members-only live streams. We can do photographs. I can talk photographs all day long. My office mates in grad school at OU actually developed the critical angle. So they made some publications on the critical angle. Good old Don Giuliano and John Esterheld back then. So I was always talking photographs. I was always involved in those discussions of shear. And I love the role of kinematics, wind fields, with tornado genesis. Not as big of a believer in buoyancy, but you need lift, you need a trough. That's why all these forecasts need to start with your shape, your comprehension of the shape of the trough at ejection. Is it a trough that barrels into the warm sector, or is it shearing out? Does the high pressure off the southeast U.S. win? Does it have is it picking up another kicker system? Is it kind of a tandem trough ejection, or is it just one open wave that's coming out? So all those things are really important, and that determines whether you have lift or sinking motion over the warm sector. And if you get that positive vorticity advection throughout the mid and upper troposphere, then that leads to lift. Almost like how an MJO will propagate over the Atlantic, and once it hits those disturbances that are coming off West Africa, they all blossom into hurricanes. Hurricanes that take up a large swath of the troposphere. Yeah. Bubblers. It's a bubbler outbreak. I call these bubblers, they're just showers, basically, percolating convection. They'll bubble a little bit, and once they start producing lightning, then it becomes a thunderstorm or thunder shower. But before they're producing lightning, it's just a shower. And if it's a rotating shower, then it's called a super shower. And you get a lot of those super showers lining up in prefrontal confluence bands in these warm sectors in the Mid-South. Dixie Alley's a tough place to chase. I'll tell you that. I'll be the first one to tell you that. I just come out here and just drive in circles for like 24 straight hours every single time I come to Dixie. Oh yeah, I'm still interested. Memphis. That mesoscale discussion did include Memphis. I don't even think a tornado watch ever got issued out here. Put that hatch area out, eastern Arkansas to northwest Mississippi. Could have gone to DFW. Probably would have intersected those storms in southeast Oklahoma and then blast east to try to catch the day 2. It's just difficult to string 2-3 days together. Looks like a rainmaker, if anything. But yeah, once that squall line arrives, there's a decent chance that we're just going to be chasing a QLCS event tomorrow, too. Very good chance of that. get this last video out to AccuWeather. Tough day for chasing. It's a nocturnal event, but tomorrow is going to go big. So make sure that you activate the notifications, hit that notification bell, and we'll be back live tomorrow. Thanks everybody for joining me. I'm going to try to get online and shut down this stream. Otherwise, it's just going to show the map the whole night. Make that work. Pull over up here because I gotta log in with the right authentication key. Thanks, Ryan. Can't figure out how to shut it down. Yeah, I did see that the cat held at DFW. That's how it goes with those setups. You either get a big time, you get hail, or you get nothing. Sunny skies. Southerlies are just ripping out here, though. Big southerly winds. All right, everybody, I'm going to shut down the stream and end position for tomorrow. I like this kind of northern Mississippi, northern Alabama target, I think. Throw away the Mickey D's. Yeah. Good night, everybody. Thanks, Reed. Brian gave me the link too to shut it down. I just have to go to this website first. Good night, everybody. Good night, Team Dominator. Good old Thomas Kirkland. It wasn't a great chase, but tomorrow will be a better chase.